What's going on, people? It's Colin Mitch from the Central Club podcast, and we are back with another reaction video. This time, we're just looking at what's been trending on TikTok and other social media platforms with some of the well-known faces within our culture. So I hope you enjoy and stay central.
The Central Club.
Right, guys, I need your help, and Sophia needs your help too. I need everyone to tag Jason Love. Sophia's dream collab
BBC content
is to collab with Jason Love, and I want to sit in the corner and watch. So make sure you tag him down below. We need to find out where he is. He's somewhere in Miami. Yeah, and let's just make the dream collab happen. It will be her first BBC content. She's gagging for it. It's going to be like chucking a sausage down an alleyway. Jason Love's all for it. We need to reach out to him, so make sure to tag him down below. Any other corn stars in Miami, let me know. Sophia's here, Sophia's there, Sophia's everywhere. But yeah, Jason Love, we need you, brother. You can only do her if I can sit in the corner and watch. So make sure to get in contact, Instagram or on here. I've DM'd you on TikTok. She's up for it. She wants that BBC. Cheese! You know the rules.
Jeez. Come on, mate. Like, this is just an all-time low. Like, what? Oh, just before we go on, what do you mean by chucking a sausage down an alleyway? Is she the sausage? Has he got the sausage? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, Jason Love's a bit of a boy, and if he's the sausage in the alleyway, then does that mean she's got a big bucket? I don't know, mate. That did not make sense whatsoever. But, you know, Bevo, man, they're both just as bad as each other, him and this girl. But if I was that girl, I'd be jogging him on. You don't need this Bevo. You know, she's clearly the one making the money, and, you know, he's riding on the back of the coattails. But, you know, I don't think this is a genuine relationship. I don't think they genuinely love each other. This is just another, you know, poor attempt at, like, you know, famous people being together. But it's like the most B-Tech version of it. And, you know, this is just standard procedure in this day and age now, isn't it? Like, you know, people will get famous for something trivial, not even trivial, just bizarre. And then once that has kind of become irrelevant, they then tend to go to things like OnlyFans and stuff like this. And, you know, Bevo's a male, you know, so, you know, males do well on OnlyFans, but I'm sure Bevo doesn't. But then, you know, nothing would surprise me. So his way of getting involved in the OnlyFans world is jumping on the back of this girl and becoming a cuck and sitting in the corner. What's all that about?
Yeah. Who's the guy on the flag?
The King of Iran.
The King of Iran?
Yes.
Wow. What is his name?
Name Reza Shah Pahlavi.
And what's your message about this, like the flag?
Say again?
What's the message? Like,
Message?
Flag? Yeah.
The flag?
Yeah.
The leon and the sun.
Is that the Iranian flag right
yes,
now?
It's originally Iranian.
The original?
Not Islamic Republic.
Okay,
yeah.
so okay, I didn't really understand that. So they got a different flag now, is it?
Yes.
What year was this flag on?
This flag is more than 2,000 years.
2,000 years?
Yes. More than 2,000 years.
Wow.
Be careful for...
Yeah. Sorry, no, you're all right, mate. Yeah, man. Wow. I didn't know that before, you know? So that's the King of
Iran.
Yes. All right, bless
yes,
up, brother. I hope you get freedom, mate, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, you know, I'm not here to insult anyone who doesn't. I understand, but so basically, what you've got here is Iran never used to be an Islamic country, let's say. So first and foremost, they are Persian, they are not Arab, okay? And you had the last Shah. that is his son on the flag, I believe. He actually done a podcast with Bette David, which was fantastic. I recommend anyone going to watch it. Now, most of the Iranians you see here in Britain who have been here for, since the late 70s, most of them have come here to flee the regime, okay? My barbers, who's been my barbers now for, over a decade, well over a decade. I've known him for a long time. Ahmed Hussein, they're not Muslim, okay? And there's a lot of Iranians like that who are not Islamic, religious. They are Christian, a lot of them, and a lot of the others, they follow a ancient Persian kind of tradition, religion, let's say. So, it's good to see that they're there, standing for the rights of Britain. I think that was the march they were at, the Reuniting the Kingdom march. A lot of people don't like the regime there, and they hope that it will soon topple. And one thing I just want to touch on here, which is something I've picked up, researching on the Iran kind of situation, because it's really fascinating. But, we've never learned from history, and it looks like history could be repeating itself if we are not careful. So the Shah was exiled out of the country. And before I jump in, don't get it twisted, the West were involved in him being toppled over. He was a threat to the West, okay? Iran at the time was like the Vegas of the Middle East, yeah? That man on the flag actually says on the podcast, we should have been the Japan of the Middle East, and we ended up becoming the North Korea, okay? So they were a threat to America. So America would... They brought in the religious cleric who's going to, do wonders for them to make out like, this is what we need. And also there was the communist element as well. There was threat of communism. When he got exiled, and then those two who came together to work, the communists and the Islamists, came together, all the Islamists killed the communists. And you have now the regime in Iran, which... to be fair, is a bigger beast than, the Shah ever would have been for America, I think personally. And if you look at what's going on in the world right now, if you see in America, if you see in Britain and other places in Europe with the Free Palestine marches, you have the woke liberal left and the communist left with the Muslims standing side by side, even though, their viewpoints, their ideologies do not align whatsoever. But they're working together against this common threat, they say. But when it comes to it, what a lot of the left don't realise is, and probably the Muslims do, but they will turn on each other straight away as soon as they come into power, if that's the case. So it's what I'm trying to say is, it is something very similar to what's happened back then, and we should be learning from history rather than walking straight back into it. And that guy looked like Leo Metric, by the way. MB, shout out the Iranian version.
Yes, in the last few minutes, the judge has imposed an 18-month sentence, jail sentence on Tommy Robinson. He spent the weekend in custody after surrendering to police. So he'll stay in custody for that sentence. Now. We were expecting a 2-day trial, but at the last minute, and as the court started this morning, his lawyer told the judge that he had admitted the 10 breaches of a court injunction that had banned him from repeating allegations that had been the centre of a libel case in 2021, a libel case that Tommy Robinson who appeared in court under his real name, Stephen Yaxley Lennon, a libel case that he had lost and had cost him £100,000 in damages. Essentially, it was about comments he made about a 15-year-old schoolboy, Jamal Hijazi, who had been the subject of a viral video being beaten up Lots of comments flowed about that being a racist attack. Tommy Robinson, who his lawyer said was working as a journalist, decided to investigate that and had a very different view and made allegations about that schoolboy, accusing him of being a bully, of stabbing another pupil.
Okay, I just want to give you my take on this. So, Tommy Robinson has gone to jail for making a documentary called Silenced and releasing it. Now, the mainstream media and the manipulated population will say that Tommy Robinson has gone to prison for lying in a documentary about this poor boy, which is not the case. He's gone to prison because he has breached his order, which was not to release it. Why wasn't he allowed to release it? Why would you think he wasn't allowed to release it? Surely free speech would say he should be allowed to release a documentary, whether that was a theory, whether that was an opinion, or it was an investigation. He should be allowed to release free speech, surely. Well, I think that this order was put in place because they were banged to rights and it was kind of a cover-up, and the media, went on a storm slamming the person who beat up Jamal on the video, yeah? That boy who beat up Jamal in the video, you find out in the documentary, was the older brother of a sister that Jamal had threatened to rape and other accusations. Now, if you do take some time out of your lives to actually watch this documentary, you will see that Tommy Robinson was bang on the money. This wasn't a documentary that he made from his home with some graphics and opinions. He actually went to the town. He went to teachers, head teachers, mothers of people who worked at that school. And he went there with a camera, covert. And they're blatantly on camera admitting that this boy was a terror. He was nasty. He was a bully. He was volatile. He threatened to stab people. So this boy wasn't an angel, and this documentary, it proves all of that, okay? So the sad thing about this is you've got Tommy Robinson now in prison for releasing a documentary that he believes was his right and was needed to be pushed out for the wider public to see, okay? He's in Belmarsh, or was in Belmarsh. He's been moved, I believe, but is in segregation or on a vulnerable wing because of the threats of his life by extremists, let's say. And then you have got the boy who killed all those innocent children in Southport, who we now know were terror-related, walking around the same prison, which was Belmarsh, probably not on a vulnerable wing, probably well protected by other Islamists. Like, where is the sense in this? I think it is so unfair. The injustice is ridiculous. Because when you see both sides, it's impossible to look away. So that's my take. I think it's wrong. I really do.
Former One Direction singer Liam Payne found dead, as it happened in Buenos Aires in the Aries full moon. It happened and he fell down 3 stories, just like Sophia, the artist who was taking a picture of a moon and fell off the balcony, falling from the 3rd floor, the 3 stories. This is called pattern recognition, because we can see these sacrifices happen on the world stage, even here at CERN. The man who proposed the God particle, which was discovered at CERN, dies on the eclipse when CERN was reactivated. This guy's connected to the number like the 69, the 96, which is the Cancer moonshot, which is the moonshot, the moon. It's all the moon rituals. Oh my goodness. Absolutely crazy.
Look, I love, trying to put things together. I think some things are quite a big reach. Shout out to Donut. We've interviewed him twice. One of his podcasts is out now. But I do think a lot of this can be far-fetched. Although, this one, can it all be a coincidence? What do you think? Do you think this was a ritual?
Hang on, I've just been looking back through Twitter and your own Facebook page. You used to be against HS2. Well, HS2 was actually conceived of and developed by Labour. It was Gordon Brown that first brought HS2.
Yeah, but you
as a
personally,
project.
were campaigning against it. You said it was too expensive. You said it would be environmentally destructive, and you said it was pointless. And now you're saying you'd press ahead with the original plans.
So I oppose HS2 on cost and on merit. It will not achieve its stated objectives. But, Madam Deputy Speaker, the impact in particular of HS2 on my constituency, on residents, on businesses and on the environment will be devastating.
Why is this guy just a total compulsive liar? He either thinks people are really stupid and won't find these previous clips, or he just does not give two fucks. Do you know what's funny though? Like, we're looking at that video then, did you see him at in Parliament? It's like, you know, when Prime Minister's questions is finished and everyone's gone and there's just a couple people there, you know he's a proper job's worth and a lick ass and has brown-nosed his way to the place because there was no one else there. There was probably about 10 people in the room.
You were elected promising change, and in opposition you were very critical of Tory donors paying for things for previous prime ministers. Yet you've taken money for clothes for your wife, you were late with a declaration. What do you say to people who think you should be paying for your own clothes and that you're bringing just more of the same?
Well, let me shed a little light on this. It's very important to me that the rules are followed. I've always said that. I said that before the election. I've reinforced it after the election. And that's why shortly after the election my team reached out for advice on what declarations should be made so it's in accordance with the rules. They then sought out for further advice more recently, as a result of which they made the relevant declarations. But for me, it's really important that the rules are followed.
What absolute horseshit.
Well, let me shed a little light on this. The way he thinks he's very clever by answering, you know, he really thinks he's going to give us an insightful answer on this, and then he just literally dances around the whole question. He actually thinks he's very clever in doing so, which just everyone can see straight through him. And it's the same with the Arsenal ticket allocation. You know, he was people were complaining because he was in hospitality tickets paid for by the government, and his answers were, well, I was going to go into the normal allocation, but it would have cost them more money for security and stuff. And you're like, we're not asking you to go as, you know, as a public figure. Just go on your ones, and, you know, the reason why you need security is because you're a cunt and everyone hates you. You know, it's just, let's be real here. Okay, people have jobs and they have perks of the jobs. You know, you might work, I don't know, you work as a football coach, you know, in your spare time, yeah? And you funded all these footballs. So you might have a football to play with your kid, you know, it's your football. You might work, I don't know, in maintenance in a hospital, like my granddad used to. And his uniforms were overalls. So, you know, you can use those overalls to paint his house. You know, just thinking of little perks here. But, you know, to be the Prime Minister, okay, get paid for being the Prime Minister, get paid for living in 10 Downing Street, you know, you're living rent-free, yeah? But then also to use government money and taxpayers' money to purchase clothes is taking the fucking piss, especially when you are meant to be the Labour Prime Minister. You are the leader of the Labour Party.
The man who created the immigration crisis of today. In 2003, Labour had been in power 6 years under the leadership of Tony Blair. Tony Blair's government is taken to court by future Labour leader Keir Starmer. He argued against Section 55 of the then government's Immigration and Asylum Act, 2002-1. This victory paved the way for the enticing benefits economic migrants want, therefore, some claim to be asylum seekers. This makes Keir Starmer one of the architects of one of the biggest issues in Britain currently. Do you think he is capable of sorting a mess that he helped create over 20 years ago?
Well, I believe no, because, you know, he will probably deny that till the bitter end, that it has nothing to do with him. Okay, you know, we might say there's probably more to this issue, you know, wars. But then if Tony Blair's working closely with him, he was one of the part reasons we went to war following George W. Bush. So, you know, there might have been, you know, look, this is all planned. Like, I'm speaking here as, you know, kind of a middle ground person here. We all know things are planned, really. And it makes you wonder, like, why would you pass a bill like that anyway? You know, he was primed to be a prime minister, even though we should never have been voted in. But everything's planned, and it is sinister, I think, personally.
Rapper Young Thug is now pleading guilty in what has become Georgia's longest-running criminal trial.
The court sentence is 20 years to serve 5 years, commuted to time served, the balance of 15 years to be probated, and a $25,000 fine.
Well, this was excruciating because, in our collective opinion, Jeffrey would have been found not guilty of everything.
And you are?
I'm Saul Goodman, and Carl Gravenhorst is 100% innocent.
Yeah, shout out to Brian Steele, a literal legend. This guy, he done the job. I'm sure his reputation was massive in the first place, hence why Young Thug got him to represent him. But I'm telling you, his day rate has certainly gone up a lot more. And, you know, one of the most iconic moments of this whole trial, which I did follow, shout out Cuff Boys for, you know, keeping me informed. But he was actually held in contempt and spent weekends in prison as a inmate, you know, because some of the things within the case that he didn't find to be fair, which we found out wasn't, because the first judge ended up being sacked off the job, but he willingly, you know, he stood his ground, Brian Steele, and was willing to go to jail for Young Thug. Crazy. But quickly, what do you think? Do you think Young Thug should have been released? I think now what he needs to do is just get away from all that shit. And I know it's easier said than done, because even me, myself, you know, my phone book, you know, I still get the odd phone calls, and, you know, that life that I once lived is a phone call away. With Young Thug as well, being in America, we know that the code, let's say, the gang culture is 100 times more intense. But, you know, I assume he probably spent a lot of money with Brian Steele, you know, fighting this case. But he only has to make an album now, and that will blow. Just, he could mumble the whole album and not even say a word, and it will blow up just because of this case. I truly believe that. I know people thought the same with Bobby Shmurda, didn't work. When he released, he just became a massive flop. But I think this one was, because it was followed on TV, this case, I think this gives him more clout. So yeah, just make your money on your next album and just leave the ends.
This has left such a sour taste in my mouth. Liam Payne has been dead less than 2 weeks, and his first posthumous release is coming out this Friday. A release that was not approved of or discussed with his family. Greed. It's the only way to justify this. And the producer is trying to spin it that he's doing something positive for Liam's family and for his fans. The song is called Do No Wrong. It's a collaboration with producer Sam Pounds, and this producer even listed Liam's name first. Liam Payne and Sam Pounds. Even though this is not an official Liam Payne release. This is a Sam Pounds release. And I'm sure he's got paperwork, a release from Liam that Liam signed when he was alive, but this still feels so wrong to me. And Sam Pounds is trying to justify it by saying the following, quote, "I pray that this will be a blessing to the world like Liam has always dreamed. I pray angels will comfort you all every day while listening. I pray that this song will be a blessing to Ruth, Bear, and the entire family." His son, Bear. "I pray that this song eclipses the negative echoes. I pray supernatural, positive healing power will embrace each and every one of you. I pray you don't release it, Sam Pounds." This guy's, in my opinion, not the brightest, because forever now, his name will be linked to this disgusting release. I think that is what it is. It's not been announced that the money is going to Liam Payne's son. It's not been announced that the money is going to charity. This is not a charity release. That I would feel better about. Okay, the money's going to Liam's son. I mean, Liam's son is set financially, but if the profits from this were going to addiction resources to help those struggling with substance abuse, that would be a beautiful thing. But Sam Pounds has not announced that, because that's not happening. Instead, lining Sam Pounds' pockets. Sam Pounds' bank account is going to get fatter. That's what's going to happen. Gross, I think. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section.
I think Sam Pounds, Pounds by name, Pounds by nature, clearly. How did, like, he just said then that it was obviously signed before he passed away, but the song is to raise awareness. What's all that about? What did he say? Listen, I don't know when you're going to die, but when you do die, can we release this song? Bizarre. I didn't know Liam's son was called Bear Payne, because, I'm in bear pain. That's just mad. But no, jokes aside, this is so fucking sad. We see it all the time. But yeah, to release this and make out it's for a good cause, when, you're not putting any of the proceedings to anything that is a good cause, you should be putting this money to, like he said, his children are probably set for life, but you should be putting this to something to raise awareness on addiction, really. Cocaine, alcohol, coke-ethylene, I've done a little video on what I think of the Liam Payne situation, and that's what you should be putting this to, not to get a name off this and make some money, Sam Pounds. Yeah, it's very sad. You could clearly see he's been going through trauma in his life. That celebrity lifestyle isn't what it always seems to be. I could relate a lot when he said about hitting rock bottom. I've said before, I used to try and search for my rock bottom, and I just didn't know when it was coming. I feel personally, I now know what my rock bottom was, because, since then I've turned my life around. But there's something that I resonated quite a lot with Mac 10, who has done the 12-step program. And he said there's always a hatch door, and that's true as well. There will, there might always be something that happens in my life that makes me go back to that. But as long as I don't go back to drugs, and I handled it properly, I believe my rock bottom was just before I turned my life around. And it's a shame that Liam, wasn't able to see his through and get to live for his children and grow old. Yeah, rest in peace to Liam Payne again.
Young Philly update. The boy Young Philly, what is going on with him? So he was back at the police station again today, and apparently he was blowing kisses to his fans and also swearing at reporters. It's a stressful time for him right now, as he may be stuck in Western Australia for 2 years as he waits to face his trial. He blew a kiss to his fan and was waving today in better spirits as he went to the police station to do his regular checkups. He arrived at the court. As he got out, he said "F in hell" and was shocked at the sight of numerous paparazzi. Again, he did not directly talk or address the situation. Apparently inside the courthouse, cops had no issue with him changing the address he was bailed to, saying it didn't appear to have raised any flags. He's probably settling in now to proper accommodation because he's going to be there for a long time rather than just in a hotel. Police have not released any updates in the situation other than the fact that they're trying to track down another party that she is part of the allegation who is in company with the accused, who will obviously be a key witness in trying to prove what happened on that night, but I will keep you guys posted on this case.
Yeah, it's really interesting, this one, isn't it? First of all, what I would like to say is it was fascinating to see how many people like kind of condemned him. And it just shows how fake and envious we are as humans. Not all of us, of course, but you know, I have been before in my life. I was very jealous of people and stuff. But, you know, it seemed to me like everyone loved him. Everyone. But the moment this came out, everyone was slamming him. So it just shows that maybe they were jealous all along, you know? In terms of this case, I never followed him. Never did. But what I have seen of this person, he is a bit of a womanizer, and it's always been like sexual innuendos. So, you know, you play with fire, you're going to get burnt, mate. Simple as. And, you know, the fact that you go into the police station, you're blowing kisses, probably to a female, but then the paparazzi, you want to tell them to fuck off, the people who actually made you. You know, if this case wasn't there, you'd be all over those cameras, mate. So I don't think it was a good look. But look, innocent until proven guilty. I do stand on that and always will. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Thanks to you, HS, I've now broken up with Grace, but you can call me Daddy General because I'm coming to Dubai to date and wife up your mummy, and she's going to have a mini General G, your brother. Cry about it. The venom is lethal and it's coming to a Dubai near you.
Another problem with social media, TikTok especially, you get people who probably got mental health issues, were very socially awkward. You know, I love the fact that HS Toki kind of pulled him under his wing, but this guy's clearly got issues, and I do see some nonce tendencies there. I don't want to, you know, the things I've seen of him, you know, kind of match what my initial thoughts were. You know, you should never judge a book by its cover and never, you know, assume things. But from what I've seen, the messages, videos, what he talks about, strange guy, and it's just another brick of proof that TikTok and the world we're living in right now is toxic.
Go to coming here though and just feel mad.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable and that, you know what I'm saying? So it's just one of them. But
She's calm. My little brother, you know.
Oh, that girl, mate. This America girl, she really winds me up.
Right, where's the actual... Aye! What, am I the first one to do that? Right, where's the actual... Aye! What, am I the first one to do that?
Right, where's the actual... Aye! What, am I the first one to do that?
Literally sounds like a bloke. Like, why are you acting that way? Jarring.
You're right that we cannot assume that all cultures are equally valid. So which cultures, in your view, are less valid than others?
Oh, lots. Cultures that believe in child marriage, for instance, or that women don't have equal rights. I actually think it's extraordinary that people think that's an unusual or controversial thing to say. Of course, not all cultures are equally valid. I don't believe in cultural relativism. I believe in Western values, the principles which have made this country great, and I think that we need to make sure that we continue to abide by those principles to keep the society that we have now.
So which particular cultures then would you say are less valid? Because as you've said, your words, not mine, some people think that that is a controversial thing to say. So which cultures would you specifically say are less valid than others?
So it's not about labelling cultures. Culture includes a lot of things. I'm not talking about cuisine, I'm talking about customs. And I think that cultures where women are told that they should not work, I would knock on doors. I'm sure Penny and Jake had this. You'd knock on doors and you'd see somebody at the door who says, oh, I can't speak to you, I will get my husband. I don't think that's as equally valid.
Yeah, this really, like, fair play to her. You know, I don't know enough about her to make my judgments yet. But what I have seen is it's a breath of fresh air. But again, just disappointing by the BBC. You know, their presenters are just so woke. And, yeah, it's not a controversial thing to think that these things, this is standard procedure. Like, and I love that as well when she mentioned cuisine. The amount of times that people, when they talk about illegal migration and we need to, like, control our borders, that the liberal left will go, well, you like a curry, don't you? You likes a curry? Well, you likes an Indian, you likes a Chinese, though, don't you? Well, you don't want it, and you're like, what are you on about? You're just missing the whole point of what I'm trying to argue. Crazy.
Let's talk about hairy balls and sack whacking. Here's a hairy ball, here's a hair trimmer. Let's talk about sack whacking technology. Here's a sack, let's whack it. No guard on there. No nicks on the sack. This is the best little hair trimmer I've ever used. It also comes with a nose hair trimmer. Boys, this is superb. And last but not least, you've got a close shaver for your face. There's your link.
This guy's always on my algorithm for some reason. The reason I wanted to do this is because I'm quite conflicted with this TikTok shop thing. I love that people can make this money and kill it. And he's doing well, clearly. But this guy is literally selling anything. Like, stuff that ain't even good for you. And I just think, like, you know, when does it stop? Like, you know, I've seen him sell the most relevant stuff that he surely doesn't believe is working. So, I don't know. What's your opinion on it, guys? Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
You put a phone into your arse, it basically sits. If you've got your arsehole, you've got the bit that stays shut, and just at the start of your rectum, there's like a space, and that's where the phone sits.
It's like a sort of phone.
Well, it's a safe. That's what we called it, the safe. But when you put a spoon in, it basically goes through, and when you push the spoon back, it hits the top of the phone. So when you pull it out, it all comes with it. Right. It's the easiest way to get it out. If someone's not going to take it out.
So it's like you sort of pony a phone.
Yeah, basically. And you'd run into a cell and you'd say, give me the phone. No, I ain't got a phone. And you get a spoon out and say, give me the phone. I ain't got a phone.
But most people have got phones, but they just walk around with their ass.
Well, that brain can hand it over. Mate, it's fucking less traumatic. I know that. I'd rather just hit up. It's actually funny because when you say to the geezer, oh, he's going to be a bit of spooning, they almost think you're going to give him a cuddle. That dream's shattered instantly. But,
that much fun.
No, don't. Well, it is taking them out. I don't know how it is for the geezer. Like,
oh, it's a phone.
I've actually witnessed. Well, I've been on the wing when two people have been spooned, and it's not a very nice thing, is it? Let's be real. Something you shouldn't really be talking about on a podcast like it's clever. You know, my one friend actually had to get internal stitching. It was someone I knew when he got set up. And he's fucked from it, you know. This talk about sticking a spoon and just touching the phone and it all falls out. It ain't as easy as that. Trust me. It leaves a mess and it's hard to get out. But for you to come on here and talk like this is it. And like you've done like, how many spoonings you've done? Well, you're a rapist, aren't you? You've raped someone. That's what you. I know someone who spoons someone. He's on a rape charge. So you're a rapist. That's what you're saying, yeah? It's not fucking good, mate. Not good at all.
Interviewing prisoners while they are in jail. What are you in jail for? What's your crime? What did you do? What did you do?
I killed my bird and her girlfriend.
Is that why you're in jail?
Yeah,
How long did they give you?
15 years.
15 years for killing your bird?
Yeah.
All right.
15 years for killing your bird and her girlfriend. What the fuck is wrong with society? This guy should be lifed off. Not 15, 30 wrecks, mate. 2 kills. And why did you kill him? Because she went off with a girl. You turned her lesbian and then you killed him. That's fucking crazy. This world is just nuts. And, you know, I hate the fact that, you know, you get phones in jail and you know, can you imagine the victims who see that and they see him just in jail laughing? It's crazy. Anyway, that's enough content for today. I hope you enjoyed these reaction videos. If you want some more, hit the like button, leave a comment. We'll see you next week. Stay central.
The Central Club.